Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our final webinar of the series. And we're just going to give it a minute to let everyone join as usual, and then we'll get started. Hi to everyone just joining us. I can actually see it's 12, so we might just jump straight in. So thank you to everyone who is joining us here today for our Ask Us Anything webinar. This is your opportunity to ask us as many questions as possible. No question is silly. And as you'll know from previous webinars that we've done over the past few weeks, my name is Bethany. I'm the Marketing and Comms Manager here at Big Give, and I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague Sahil, who's our Key Partnerships Manager, and will be answering your questions today. But before we get into that, as usual, please do use the chat box at the bottom of your Zoom panel to introduce yourselves. I can see many of you are doing that already, which is fantastic. If you do have any tech issues throughout the session as well, please do let us know here, and we'll try to answer those as soon as possible. You'll also see a Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom panel. You can use this to ask us your questions today. And as mentioned before, this is your opportunity to ask us as many questions as possible throughout this time. You'll also be able to raise your hand. So you'll probably get tired of us speaking. We'd love to hear some of you ask us your questions directly, and we'll be able to unmute you to do that. If you need captions, there should also be a show captions button at the bottom of your Zoom panel as well, or you can click the more button and it might be there instead. And finally, the webinar is being recorded. It'll be available to watch on YouTube after the session. And if we don't get to any of your questions, you can email us at hello@biggive.org, and one of the team will be on hand to answer those questions there as well. So just before we jump into all those questions, we're just going to give a little bit of a reminder of the campaign rules, an overview of some of our creative, and then we'll open up the floor for you guys to ask us all your questions. So as some of you might know already, we have a Christmas Challenge Trello board. So this is the home of all of our assets for this year. This will be regularly updated as we get closer to the campaign week. So we'll be uploading our video here, for example, but it's already updated, or it has already been updated with loads of Christmas challenge assets and social media templates, for example, which you can use, all of which are available on Canva. So you can make it into your own branding, you can add your own logos and design it and make it unique for all of your individual charities. So I would definitely encourage you to have a look there. And of course, do email us if there's something you really, really need and that isn't there, and we can see what we can do about adding it to the board. I just wanted to also give you a bit of an overview of our Christmas challenge narrative for this year for anyone interested. So we'll be continuing our narrative of Double at Christmas, which we started to use last year. But you will see this play out in our Christmas film in a slightly different way, as our Christmas film is going to be focused all around the moments that matter. So I mean, I'm sure as many of you can probably resonate, Christmas is not always about, those perfect presents or perfect moments. In fact, for many of us, it's complete chaos, family everywhere, food everywhere. And that's probably the best part about Christmas. And those moments of connection, kindness, and just crazy moments that only happen at Christmas that we can all reminisce on and laugh about afterwards. But in the Christmas film, what we're trying to highlight this year is that many of those moments are only made possible by your amazing charities that are working tirelessly across the country, supporting many of those people who may not have big families at Christmas, or may not have access to food or a warm home, all of these kind of things that we take for granted at Christmas time. So we're really trying to kind of emphasize that in this film and make it about, it's double, not only double the difference these amazing charities can make, but double the moments, double the support, double the comfort. And you'll see that play out in our Christmas film, but also hopefully in some of the key messages that we're putting out as part of the Christmas challenge as well. And all of that, again, is linked in the Trello board if you want to have a bit more of a deeper dive into what we're doing this year. And again, sharing this from last year, this is just a really great example of how you can use that doubling messaging in your own comms. I think that's probably the most important key message of this year is just anything you donate, no matter how big that donation is, even if it's, £1, £2, £5, £10, that donation could be doubled and you can double the difference that you're making for all of the amazing causes and the best beneficiaries that you're supporting this year. And you can see just examples of this page of how you might start to use that doubling imagery in your own assets and comms. Final thing from me before I pass over to Sahil. Big Give, we work with a retained PR agency for the Christmas Challenge, and they support us in supporting our charity partners to potentially access national media coverage to help them promote their campaign. Some of you might have heard from me already, but if you do have any kind of high profile ambassadors or even lower profile ambassadors who have a deep emotional story that they're willing to be quite candid about, we would love to hear from you because we would potentially be able to link you up with our PR agency and see if there's any opportunities that they could pitch to media for you for a chance to secure some extra PR coverage for your campaign. And on this slide, I've just given a list of a couple of the opportunities that we have done for charities in the past. With that, I'll pass on to Sahil.
Beth. So I just want to remind charities about like getting campaign ready and some of the reminder of the rules of the campaign. So first of all, about getting campaign ready, we do have that Trello board, as Beth mentioned. I'll put the link in the chat. So it's a really great resource for assets, and obviously links to all the webinars and slides and things like that. So please do access the Trello board and use those assets. They're all free to use for you to use however you want to. And then we also have the case studies on our website. You can scan the QR code for direct link now. And yeah, they are from the previous campaign award winners. So loads of different case studies there, loads of campaigns run in different ways and great tips and ideas and creative ways those charities have made a success of their campaign. So really a lot of great ideas for you to take forward for your own campaign. So definitely worth accessing those case studies. And then we also have the peer-to-peer learning. So we do have a Facebook group. Again, scan the QR code to get a direct link to that Facebook group. So um, you can also ask each other questions and network through there and sort of support each other that way. And we're obviously on hand to answer any questions, but if you want a quick answer, sometimes you can put it in the Facebook group and one of the more experienced charities can get back to you really quickly. But also a great way to just share ideas and sort of help each other out as well, which we love that community aspect of the Christmas challenge. And then we just want to make sure you are aware of the campaign rules. So, first of all, please make sure you've accepted your offer to take part in the campaign. You have all received offers of participation, so you do need to accept the offer to officially take part. All donations have to be made via your Big Give campaign page. We can't match fund donations made sort of offline or on other websites. So please bear that in mind for this campaign. It is a digital fundraising campaign. All of our campaigns are designed to develop charities' digital fundraising skills. We cannot match offline donations. So if someone is donating to you via check or cash, or you come, yeah, if you come to us during the campaign, we can say, oh, this person wants to donate via check. We will have to say we can't match fund that donation. It has to be made through the website. The donate button will appear on your unique campaign page at midday on the 2nd of December when the campaign starts, and then it will disappear at midday on the 9th of December when the campaign closes. So anyone wanting to make a donation has to be aware of those sort of timings, just because as soon as the campaign closes, they cannot make a donation. If you can't see your campaign page, is because you may not have added your bank details. You need to upload your bank details so they can be approved by us and our payment processor Stripe. If you've already uploaded them, they may still just be pending verification. We are going through the list and just verifying bank details, so just bear with us while we get through that. But yeah, that is a very important step. You have to upload your bank details before the campaign starts, or you cannot take part in the campaign. You can edit the media assets on your campaign page. So if you visit your campaign dashboard, click on the Edit Media tab, you can change the videos, images, quotes, even the thank you message in the donation confirmation emails that donors get. You cannot edit any of the campaign copy. That is all locked now. That is meant to be a reflection of your application, so you can't change any of the campaign copy. And a reminder, it is not an all or nothing campaign. Whatever you do raise will still be matched. And then just a reminder of the payment options. We can take donations via debit, credit card. We have our donation fund system, and we also accept donations via Google and Apple Pay. And we've just introduced Pay by Bank as well. So that is another option. When donors going through the donation form, there is an option to use Pay by Bank, and it's basically where it connects to the donor's banking app and they can make a donation through there rather than using a card. So that is now a new option for this year. As I mentioned, we can't match any other types of donations. Yeah, if we go to the next slide, just a reminder of how the actual match funding model works. So as we can see, this charity on the left-hand side has secured £5,000 in pledges, and they've been awarded £5,000 of champion funds. So now that is their match funding pot, and that's a total of £10,000. They now have to raise they have a donation target of £10,000 to unlock all of that match funding. So during the campaign week, the first £5,000 in online donations they receive are matched by the pledges. Once the pledges have been used up, the donations are then matched by the champion funds until they are used up. So in this example, the charity hits their donation target of £10,000 and they've raised a total of £20,000. But as I mentioned, it's not an all or nothing campaign. So if this charity, for example, they raised £7,000 in donations during the campaign week, they would get all of the pledges of £5,000 and the champion funds they would get £2,000 worth of champion funds. Or conversely, if the charity raised £3,000, their pledges are liable to pay them a prorated rate of £3,000 and they wouldn't access the champion funds. So it's really important to remember that during the campaign week, you need to use up the pledges first to access any champion funds that may have been allocated to your campaign. That's a real key component. So it may be helpful just to initially just focus on making sure you use up those pledges to then ensure you are accessing the champion funds. And now, yeah, that's the presentation finished, and we'll take any questions from you.
Thanks. I've seen just a couple of people asking about the PowerPoint. So yes, we will be adding the slides to the Trello board along with the recording of the webinar there as well. So you'll be able to access that all in the Trello board, hopefully by this afternoon.
Let's have a look at the questions. So we got a question here saying, are we allowed to use an unrestricted grant payment as a donation during the Christmas challenge? So a grant making organization making a donation via Bax on 3rd of December. And if that is allowed, is there a limit on the size of donation they can make? First of all, if they're using the Bax, they have to use our donation funds process. If they make a Bax transfer directly to the charity, we won't be able to match that. So it has to go through the Big Give website. If they're making a donation via Bax, the maximum donation size is, I think it's £100,000. So there isn't a limit on that. What I would say is, we would really encourage you to use the best opportunity for match funding. And what I mean by that is that we know that match funding not only encourages donors to give, encourages them to give more. From previous campaigns data, 95% of charities received at least one donation from a completely new supporter. And across the campaign, on average, that was 33% of donations were from new supporters. So if you just have one donor come in at the start of the campaign, make their donation, use up all of the match funds, you have nothing left to do for the rest of the week. Yes, you've accessed the match funds, but you have missed out on what we think is a great opportunity to engage with donors, new donors, and probably even lapsed donors with this match funding incentive. And all of our campaigns are designed to builds charities long-term stability by engaging with donors and trying to bring on new donors through that match funding incentive. So our suggestion would be to actually have that donor on standby and market the campaign, try and reach out to new supporters or lapsed donors during the campaign week, see what comes in, and then within the last 48 hours, if you haven't hit the target, maybe that donor can be your backup donor and they can come in and sort of help you reach your target rather than them coming in on the first day and then using up all of the match funds and then you have nothing left to do for the rest of the week or nothing to sort of go out to donors with and get them excited about.
Thanks, Sahil. That's really good. I can see that we have one raised hand, so maybe we can try and unmute
Yeah,
Francesca.
great. Just bear with me. Oh, the hand's gone down now, Francesca.
Oh.
If you do want to ask a question, you can raise your hand if you want to speak to us directly. Oh, Vanessa, let's try and allow you to talk. Hi, Vanessa.
Hello, good morning. First of all, thank you for having us on board on this campaign. My question is regarding the bank details. Where do we input this information? Have we received an email from you, or is there a place on the website that we need to upload
Yeah,
information?
yeah, you should have been contacted us already about it, but to upload your bank details, if you log into your account and then if you click on account and then click on payment details, then it'll start the sort of bank details upload process.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And just to add to that, Sahil, we had a question from Ellie just around, is the URL for the campaign page available yet? So as Sahil mentioned earlier on, all charities should now have access to your campaign page. So if you log into the portal, go to Big Give campaigns and go to your Christmas Challenge campaign, there is a button there on that dashboard that takes you to your campaign page. If when you click on that button, you're directed just to the website and you can't see your unique campaign page, it will be down to the fact that the bank details either haven't been uploaded yet or haven't been approved by us yet. So it's worth just making sure in that case that you have uploaded all the necessary bank details as required, and then we will get to the approvals as soon as we can.
We have Francesca has raised her hand. Let's allow you to talk. Hi, Francesca. You may need to unmute yourself.
Right, yeah, I've unmuted now. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, because our match funding was lower than we were hoping for. So I just wanted to check. I've seen something recently that you've sent out about topping up. Is that linked to this campaign and how do we go about it?
Yeah, so that is linked to this campaign. It is about topping up your pledges. So some charities, they want to add in more pledges just to increase their match funding pot. It won't increase any champion funds already allocated to you, but some charities still love that match funding and they want more pledges to come in. So we sent out that email last week for any charities that want to add in more pledges at this stage can do so. If you just follow the instructions.
But that won't mean that we would be matched by another champion.
No, it won't be. Yeah, you won't be matched by another champion. And we have changed the thing with the topping up of pledges this year. For this year, those pledges that come in now, the top up pledges, they will be used after your original pledges and champion funds have been used to match donations. So you sort of don't lose out on champion funds if you sort of don't quite hit your target.
And forgive me, just one quick thing. If with our champion funder, are we able to communicate with them? Apologies if you've already discussed this at some point. So
yeah, we will be sending out the champion comms preferences in the next few weeks. So we'll share like if the champion is happy to be contacted directly from you, we'll provide those details, or if they want any communications via Big Give. So we'll share those details in the next few weeks.
Okay. Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a question from Claire who says, hi both, do you recommend that our donate link goes via our website first and then to our campaign page on the Big Give, or directly to our campaign page on the Big Give?
We would say probably directly to your Big Give campaign page because you want to make that journey as smooth as possible for donors, as few as clicks as possible. So have it go via your campaign page. And if you have any donate links on your own campaign page, we know some charities in the past have redirected those donate buttons to their Big Give campaign page during the campaign week just to avoid losing out on donations, to avoid people accidentally donating directly to the charity. So that's also a suggestion. We have Paul here who's raised his hand, so I will see if I can allow you to talk. Hi, Paul.
Hello. Great to be on this call. It's really helpful. The head of our charity has attended the previous webinars last week and found them very helpful. And she wanted to ask is, I think you've answered this, I just want a bit of clarity.
Yeah.
Is that she wants to like strengthen up our campaign message on our campaign page. Is that doable? And my secondary question, what is and what isn't editable? Because there's some weird typos on our page.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, the campaign messaging can't be changed. You can edit the media assets, but if there are typos, obviously we understand you wouldn't want to go out to donors with typos on your campaign page. So if there are typos, please get in contact with us and we can try and at least fix those. So you can't change the copy, but you can change all of the media assets. So that's all editable.
And can I just ask a quick second page?
Yes.
The Trellis page, all the assets we need on that, all the assets on there are what we need and are shareable. So we don't need to give others access to our campaign dashboards.
So
everything we need is on the Trellis.
yeah, so everything you need should be on the Trello board. Again, if there is anything that you think is not there, very happy to answer any or to talk to you about that and see if we can add something. But all of the stuff on the Trello board, particularly the social media assets, are editable on Canva by you if you want to change to your branding.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks, Paul. Just bear with me. There's a question here from Helen. Maybe this one, maybe for you. She says, I understand we'll be clear about the messaging, e.g. date of Big Give, save the date, but for paid ads the week before the campaign, are there any learnings as to the best page to direct them to ensure they don't donate directly to the charity early?
Yeah, good question. I would say if you're doing any kind of warm-up paid ad content, you might want to think about a different call to action, because obviously during the campaign week itself, your call to action will be, go and donate to us now, and people will be able to go to the Big Give campaign page and donate to you directly to get their donation matched. But obviously that donate button will not be on your campaign page for any warm-up content like the week or two before. So you might want to think about a call to action such as sign up to our newsletter to get updates and reminders about when the campaign is live. You might want to direct them to a specific landing page that you've made on your website that could be about the Christmas challenge, that shares some more information, that provides, maybe has a video on it or something. So just think about maybe using a different link if you're doing warm-up content and then switching to a link directly to your Big Give campaign page during the campaign week, if that makes sense.
I think there's some questions in the chat, so we'll try and run through them. Hopefully we don't miss them, but please do try and put any questions in the Q&A or raise your hand. What happens to the money transferred in? Does it go to Big Give account and then our bank account? This is causing us some issues as a couple of our potential donors are corporates who, for governance reasons, can only donate straight to our bank account. So yeah, as I mentioned, we can't match fund any donations not made via Big Give website. So if anyone donates to you directly, unfortunately, we just cannot match fund that. So yeah, you would have to ask those donors if they can make a donation via the Big Give website. Otherwise, unfortunately, we may not be able to match fund it. And it just may be a case that this may not be the campaign for them. It just may, because of their sort of donation methods, and it just may be like, yeah, they can't take part in this campaign, which is fine. You don't want to alienate your donors. So if they really can't make a donation, don't try and like force them to do something that they're not able to do. A suggestion maybe is there a third party that could make a donation for them. But obviously, I understand with the corporate that may be even a bit more difficult. So yeah, we could consider if you do want to swap out one of your pledges for this for corporate instead and have the original pledge donate during the campaign week, that could be possible. You can contact us and we can see if we can do that. Yeah, so that's probably our suggestions for that situation.
Just following the chat, one from Rebecca, you've previously mentioned that larger donations will take longer to go through. Is there any best suggestion, therefore, for a donation of £1,000, for example?
Yeah, so if someone's making a donation with their card, then that should be instantaneous, so that shouldn't be an issue. If they're using our donation fund system, which is that BACS donation process, we would advise them to get set up on that before the campaign starts. So we will be sending out information about how that BACS donation funds system works in the next week or so. But they can get that set up before the campaign starts. They can set up their donor account and then they can load up their donor account with their money before the campaign starts. So when the campaign opens, they can just go on and then make the donation. With the BACS process, what can sometimes be an issue is that BACS transfers can happen in a couple of minutes or it can happen in 5 to 10 working days, and we don't have control of that process, and that can sometimes happen. So it's better if donors get that done, all of that setup done before the campaign starts.
I think obviously the whole BACS and donation funds process might cause some confusion to some of the charities here. So Saha, I wonder if you could explain our new pay by bank feature and how that kind of works, and when people would use the pay by bank versus when people would use donation funds, because I think a lot of charities probably would end up using pay by bank and don't need donation funds necessarily.
Yeah, so pay by bank is a new donation method that Stripe introduced and we've rolled out onto our website, and it is where someone just clicks on the donate button on your campaign page, and as they're going through the donation form, they're given an option: do they want to donate with their card or do they want to use pay by bank? If they select pay by bank, it sort of links up with their banking app, so they will be given, like, for example, a QR code to scan or a link to click on in the donation form. It depends how the individual banks implement it, and when they click on or when they click on the link or when they scan the QR code, it redirects them to their banking app, and it basically just asks them to authorize a payment and then is immediately taken from their account. So there are a limited number of banks that support this. So we have listed on our website about which banks actually support this. It's only for UK bank holders and the banks that support it. So pay by bank, we can accept donations for up to £10,000. And donors, the difference between that and donation funds is donation funds are designed to support larger BACS donations and follows a slightly different process. Donors create a Big Give donor account with us and they transfer funds into it before allocating the donation to one or multiple campaigns, usually in advance of the campaign week, to allow for processing time. On contrast, like I mentioned, pay by bank doesn't require an account or pre-transfer of funds, so donations are instantly made through the donor's banking app. And a donor may use the donation fund system because they, for example, use dual approval or they're donating more than £10,000. So those are the two different sort of bank transfer options that donors have if they can't make a donation via card. And I have seen an email from Roz saying, is there a way to simplify the BACS process? Unfortunately not. This is the simplest way we can accept donations via BACS. If there was a simpler way, we would love to implement it. But at the moment, with sort of how our match funding system works, because we're matching donations in real time, this is the simplest way that we can implement it for now. So if there is a simpler way, we would then be working on that. But unfortunately for now, we just have to stick to this process. Great. So there's some questions about money and how sort of money is paid to charities. So there's a question from Maria. How does the money go into a Big Give account and then into a charity account? Yeah. So when donations are made, the donations are held by Stripe, and then we will pay the donations out to you 2 to 3 weeks after the campaign ends. So by the end of December, you would have received all of the donations. And then pledges are paid directly to you from the pledges. You have until mid-January to collect those pledge payments. And then we will ask you to upload a proof of transfer of funds just to check the pledges have been paid. And then we will aim to pay out the champion funds end of February, early March. Great. Beth, any questions that you want to flag?
Just following up on that, one from Hannah, is there anything we should be aware of for people wanting to donate from abroad?
Yeah, so anyone wanting to donate from abroad, they can only use a card to make a donation. We can't, the BACS donation or the Pay by Bank doesn't work with banks from outside the UK. So anyone donating from abroad has to use a card. They would be charged at their card issuer's exchange rate. So whatever their card issuer has for the exchange rate is what they will be charged. They have to make the donation in pound sterling. And the other thing is, sometimes we know, especially with some cards issued in the United States, it may be worth the donor just getting in touch with their card issuer just to let them know they're making a donation to a UK website, because we have seen in the past, like some of those card issuers have blocked the payments because they are sort of not regular payments. So that may be something that donors may want to get in touch with from outside the UK, just so those donations aren't blocked. Beth, here's a question for you. Hi, can you share if you have any celebrities involved in the overarching Christmas Challenge campaign this year, and who will they be?
Good question. Unfortunately, I'm not able to share at this stage. We're trying to keep the celebs in our Christmas film a surprise, but there are 2 or 3 that will be featured there, and our video is aimed to be released, I think it's the 18th of November, about 2 weeks before the campaign starts. So you'll see some of the celebs in that. And as I mentioned before, we work with charities directly to secure PR opportunities for some of their celebrity ambassadors. So again, if you have specific celebrities that are involved in your charity and care about your work and want to support your campaign this year, very happy to have that conversation with you and to see how we can support you to get them in the news and get your campaign amplified. So there's a couple questions here, more just around the money, but I wonder if you could just share, Sahil, just when charities could expect to receive donations, and including the pledges and champion funds as well.
Yeah, I'll go over that again. So donations will be paid out 2 to 3 weeks after the campaign ends. So you'll get either 1 or 2 lump sum payments. So by the end of December, you would have received all of the donations into your bank account from Stripe. And then the pledges, you have until from the campaign ends until mid-January to collect the pledge payments. And the pledges are paid directly to you from the pledges. None of that money passes through Big Give's hands. What we will ask you to do is just upload a proof that the money has been paid, like a picture of your bank account showing the payment, for example. Once we have signed off on the pledge proofs, we will then pay out any champion funds that may be owed to you by the end of February/early March. Most of the champions direct Big Give to pay out the champion funds to charities, but there are some champions that will pay directly to charities, but we will let you know.
Thanks, Sahil. And I saw just a couple questions just around the Canva templates. So you don't have to use them. It's completely up to you whether you use them or not. We have also linked the Christmas Challenge logo in the Trello board. So if you're creating your own assets in-house and just want to use the logo, that's absolutely fine. Again, it's not mandatory to use the logo, but we think it's a great way just to show you're part of that bigger campaign, because lots of people do know the Christmas Challenge already. So if you're a kind of a smaller organization trying to reach new audiences, it can be great just to show that you're linked to a bigger and wider campaign that lots of people know about. One thing to say about the Canva templates, they're designed for you to edit them to your liking. So they're designed for you to make it really easy to change to your colors, to change to your logos, but also to add in your own photos. So it's not mandatory that you have to keep them exactly as they are. I would love to see how all the charities create and change them to suit their needs. So please do drop in your photos, make them unique to you.
There was a question here. Oh, sorry, I'll just let Ashley talk. Hi, Ashley. I noticed your hand was up. If you want to speak to us, you may have to unmute yourself. I don't know if Ashley, if you want, I'll remove your permission to talk, but if you want to raise your hand again, please do so. But I did notice you actually put a question in the chat, and it is about, you did ask, is it automatic that the donations are matched from pledged first and then champions, i.e., do we need to do anything, or is it just the way the funds will be managed automatically? You mentioned you need to access pledged first, but doesn't that happen automatically? Yes, we manage all of the matching process, so all of that is done automatically. But when you are sort of looking at your campaign target, just make sure you know that pledges are first used to match donations, so you need to use up them first, and then donations you receive after that are then matched by the champion fund. So it's more just a thing about focusing and knowing what your targets are.
Thanks, Sahil. And a question from Angie. If we increase our pledges, will we also need to increase our campaign total? And is this done proportionally?
Yes, if you add in more pledges, then obviously your donation target will increase, because then you have more match funds. So this will increase proportionally. So if you add in £5,000 worth more of pledges, then your donation target will also increase by £5,000. Yeah.
And we'll also ask you at the pledge top up stage what your updated budget is. So we'll make sure that's updated on your campaign page, so the budget reflects the new total as well.
Yeah, and we will check all of, like, if you top up pledges, we'll just make sure all of those figures make sense before doing that for you. So if we do have any questions, we'll get back to you. Great. Does anyone have any questions? This is your time, so we really love to hear your questions. But I will just point out, like, what I know. Before I do that, Celia has raised a hand. Hi, Celia.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi there. So we're running our first fundraising campaign ever at Gresham College, and we haven't really done much communication outside of our kind of bi-monthly newsletters. So this would be quite a new thing for us, and so there's kind of internal concerns about the volume of mailings, and I'm proposing to send out email communications every other day. So I think 5 during the campaign outside of the existing newsletters. So any thoughts around that? Because I know that you suggest do mailing communications, and I thought that was too much for us being new to fundraising. But any thoughts?
Just a quick question before that. When does your newsletter go out as well?
So I'm utilising them obviously in terms of kind of warm-up communications, but I'm just trying to find so the communication beforehand, one minute, will be going out on the 1st December.
Okay. And then they won't get anything for a few weeks, and then you'll have those 5 emails. Is that right?
Yeah, so yes, so the usual schedule will be the 1st of December and then the 15th of December.
Mm-hmm. Okay. To be honest, it's hard to give like an exact answer because ultimately the formula is going to work differently depending on the charity. I think if you think 5 feels right for your audience, go with it, and don't second guess yourself. I think the main thing is that you're trying to put something different in each of those emails. So we do around 4 during the campaign week to our own audience. We do like a pre-launch, maybe like 2 weeks before, normally in line with our Christmas video going out. Then we do a launch of when the campaign starts. We do a bit of a midway update, and then we do a last chance email to try and get those last minute donations in. So all of them have a slightly different message. So you might just want to think about, if you're doing 5 emails during the campaign week, what are you saying in each of them? Is it, if you're saying, if you're having 3 kind of midway update emails, but the copy is quite similar, then you might feel that the audience just starts to feel a bit overloaded. So you might want to start thinking about, maybe could you segment some of those emails? So you're targeting, some of your lapse donors with a specific copy, or you're targeting some of your, higher tier donors with specific copy, just to making it slightly different potentially.
Yes.
But I think, if you think you're happy with those 5 emails, your donors won't feel overloaded during that time, go with it. But if you're concerned about it, just maybe think about how can we maybe reduce that.
Okay, thanks very much. Thank you.
We have a question here from Barbara. This is our first time using Big Give. Is 1 week generally enough time to reach the fundraising target? Yeah, so last year, 80% of charities reached their target in the Christmas challenge. We understand it's a very hectic week, is a lot of pressure on 1 week, but the reason why our campaigns are 1 week, because we know that match funding offer works best when there is a limited time on offer. If you had match funding campaigns going on for multiple weeks, people sort of forget about donating, or they think, oh, well, I'll do it later, and they never end up doing, which is why we have a 1 week slot, because from our own research and from our sort of anecdotal experiences, we know that sort of 1 week then encourages people to donate. But yeah, we have a high success rate from charities. So we do know that it does give enough time for charities to get to their donation target. And then a quick question here. We had been planning a Christmas campaign prior to getting accepted into the Christmas challenge. Can we combine the two? So during the campaign week, we encourage all donations to come via Big Give. The campaign's objective is to raise funds for the same cause as our original Christmas challenge campaign. Yeah, absolutely fine. We have no problems with that.
And also, if you're directing people to your website during just your Christmas campaigns in general, as Sahil mentioned, you could change that donate button to go to your Big Give campaign unique URL during the campaign week, but then switch it back once that campaign has ended. So that means you're just keeping donors kind of in the same place, and you're giving them too much confusing messaging, if that makes sense.
Maria has raised her hand, so hi, Maria.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah, so my questions earlier on the money was really specifically, where does the money actually go? Which account does it go into when it hits you? Because the point is, the corporate donators can pay in to a charity account. And I know the Big Give Trust is a charity. I've looked you up on, I can see your charity accounts.
Right.
Does it specifically go into there is the question, or does it get held somewhere else? And if so, which account is it being held in? Because if it's a charity account, they can give us the money. If it's not a charity account, they can't. So that's why I tried to make it a really specific question. I understand how the finances flow and all of that. It's that specific question about which account does the money go into before it's then pulled through to us.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks for clarifying. So the money is held by Stripe, so that donation money doesn't go into Big Give account. It is held in an account by Stripe. We don't know we don't have the exact details of that, but it's a Stripe account, so that
Okay.
money isn't going into a charity account, unfortunately.
Okay, no, that helps because obviously if it was going into the Big Give Trust or Foundation, because that's charity account, we could have got
Yeah.
around it. Okay.
Thank you. When will Big advise when we can publicly thank our champions? Yeah, we will let you know in the next few weeks. We're just clarifying some things with some champions, but we will let you know as soon as possible about sort of your champions comms preferences. If we
I'll
go
go
for
ahead.
that.
I think we're going to ask the same question anyway, because
Yeah.
I saw a couple of questions coming in about pledges. So Maddie asked, if we do a pledge top up but didn't get our initial pledge matched in full, will any top ups be allocated to that first or only to the new pledge? Just seems a bit frustrating that we didn't get in our initial pledge matched in full. I'm thinking that initial pledge is in referring to the champion funds potentially, but could now get additional match funding. Just would need to get another pledger.
Right. If I've understood, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So any pledges you get now as a pledge top up, even if it's from someone that's already pledged you, they will be treated as anything they pledge now will be treated as a pledge top up. So it will be used after your original pledges have been used up and the champion funds have been used up. So it is so be allocated afterwards. I think that's what you're asking, but if that's not exactly what you're asking, please do clarify and we'll try and answer that. Yeah, so if anyone's thinking of any questions, anyone will give some time for anyone to post any questions. I'll just say from my experience, I've been at Big Give for 6 years. I know, like, I say this every year, it's like being organized as possible is the best way to sort of make a success of your campaign. So that is getting all of your comms lined up before the campaign starts, sort of getting your network ready, reaching out to your network, asking them to share your campaign, and yeah, getting all of your comms lined up. So having all of your emails ready to go out before the campaign week. So you just have to click that button, or they've already been scheduled. Also thinking about different scenarios. So if you hit your campaign week, campaign target a bit early, great. But then what messaging do you want to go out with your donors with? If you're a bit behind, is there sort of like maybe you have a backup donor, which I mentioned, that can come in and give your campaign a mid-campaign boost, or even come in at near the end of the campaign and help you reach the target. So also thinking about those different scenarios and how they will play out, because the campaign week goes so fast, is if you have that sort of all of that thought out, then it makes it so much easier to respond and to sort of manage the campaign week. So really, yeah, and really trying to get ahead of things and try and front load everything is sort of the best way to make a successful campaign. Beth, I don't know if you want to add anything on.
Yeah, I think just to kind of add to what you said, the campaign week does go so fast. And for those of you who don't know, Big Give, we're a charity in our own right, but we're also a very small team of only 11. So I am the only marketing and comms person for the Big Give. And that means, similar to you guys, there is just a lot going on for us during that week. So I always try to make it as easy as possible for myself, whether that's by scheduling all of our social media posts in advance, whether that's scheduling our email comms in advance, or just making sure I have all of the email copy there and ready, looping in all of the team and getting them to do things during the week for me, because there's lots of just different channels and things that you have to think about. So if you are a marketing team of one, trying to just get as many people helping you as possible and not being afraid to ask for help when needed, but also just managing all of those channels within your capabilities. Sometimes it's not people always like, oh yeah, just do Blue Sky, or oh yeah, just add TikTok. And it's not always that easy just to add a new channel and manage all of that. So sometimes it's just about actually, I'm just going to focus on Meta and doing Meta really well this year, or I'm just going to maybe add in one new platform, but not try to add in 5 right at the same time, all for this 1 week campaign. So just really just thinking about your channels and thinking about what can you do in advance of the campaign week to make that week go by as easily as possible for you.
And if you're not sure about what channels sort of you want to use, goal setting is a great way to sort of clarify your campaign aim. So obviously you want to raise money, lots of money through the campaign, but then break it down to smaller goals. Like, do you want to recruit a new corporate supporter? Okay, then maybe we're going to focus on LinkedIn now. Or do you want to get X number of people through Facebook, or X number of new supporters? So think if you can sort of maybe put down 2 to 3 goals, then it can help sort of clarify your campaign strategy. This is a question for you. I don't know if you can, we can share at this stage, but is there anything else comms-wise the Big Give is planning for the campaign that we should be aware of, so we can share aside from the video that was mentioned?
Yeah, so good question. So as I just previously mentioned, we'll be active on social media throughout the campaign week. So we'll be posting regularly ourselves, but we'll also be looking out for any tags from all of you guys. So please do tag us, especially in Instagram stories. We'll be resharing and reposting as much content across platforms as possible. We'll also, in addition to our Christmas challenge main video, we're going to be doing 2 short Vox Pop videos this year, ideally for kind of Reels and TikTok. So again, 2 other resources that you'll be able to share and amplify across your own channels, and they will both be released during the campaign week itself, although exact dates for those 2 are still to be confirmed. And along with the PR and media that I've already mentioned, we'll be doing email comms to our own donor email database. They'll be directed to the main campaign landing page, but they'll be encouraged to scroll through the charities and look through and donate to them as well. And we always get great engagement on our email. But the main thing is those 2 videos, the main launch video, and then anything on socials that you can tag us in, we'll happily reshare.
Right. I can't see any further questions. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can't see any further questions. I'll give it 1 more minute to give anyone to pop us a question. If not, then we can sort of wrap up a bit early and give some time back. But yeah, as we've mentioned, all of the previous webinars are available on the Trello board, but also visit our YouTube channel, because we do have webinars from previous years that are posted on there. So we do have, for example, webinars focusing specifically on social media, for example, or PR. So do also access those resources as well. So there is a lot of content out there as well to help you get started. But as ever, we're on hand, and there is a great sort of Christmas challenge community out there as well with the Facebook group, so that we hope that there is a lot of support for all of you to make a success of your campaigns. Yeah, sorry, the Canva templates are on the Trello board, I believe. Beth, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I'll just quickly pop the link in the chat just before.
Okay. Thank you all for joining us today and asking us your questions. Yeah, as ever, contact us if you have any further questions or need help with anything. But yeah, we look forward to supporting you for this year's campaign. Bye.